Okay, guys, so it's being recorded from now on. And just before this wonderful webinar, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming. And just want to remind you that this webinar has been organized by the Weekly Fasting Group. And this group is dedicated to cultivating the habit of fasting for 24 hours every week, week after week after week on a consistent basis. We unite many people from all over the world, and it's a platform that is based on WhatsApp. And we just fast together every week between Friday and Saturday, week after week after week, and we share our insight, our our ideas, etc. So if you are watching this video and these ideas appeal to you, you are welcome to contact me. My name is Arik. I'm the facilitator of this group, and my WhatsApp number is going to be below this video, and I will happily add you to the group. So, okay, and today we have John DePass. So welcome, John.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I am a member of the weekly fasting group, and I am grateful to be a member of that group, and that's wonderful to have a community, and that's what we're doing here today. We're having a circle. We're having
Absolutely.
a community circle. Yes, we're coming together as a family and bringing our energies together. And when we bring our energies together, that there is a force there. When two or more come together, that we create a force. And so this is what we're doing, is we're creating a force together.
Yeah.
We're creating a healing force together. So just bringing this intention into this moment. And this is what we're doing right now. And we're just going to open our healing circle today. Our intentional healing circle today. We're going to open it today with a little bit of meditation, and I want to take a little bit of the spookiness or the uncertainty of meditation away, and let's just simplify meditation down to just consciously becoming aware of your breath. To just becoming aware of the in and the out breath. Just observation of in and out, of the two sides of ourselves, the masculine and the feminine, the in breath and the out breath. Yes, it is true, brothers and sisters, that each breath is whole and complete. Each in and out breath is complete, a whole breath. Wholeness is two. Wholeness is always two. And to become whole, we must become aware of both. The whole in breath, the whole out breath, just breathing together, just coming together in the same breath, sharing the same moment, and sharing a common intention together now in this moment. I want to express gratitude to Arik and the weekly fasting group. I want to express gratitude to Vibrant for the friendship, and to everyone who has come here today. I want to express gratitude for you making the time to listen to me. I'm grateful for that. Meditation to me is not really any different than prayer. It is intention. It is vision. It is visualization. It is imagination. It is presence. It is coming to the present or to the moment together, just with conscious breaths together. Coming together in a circle, bringing our human energies, our soul energies, our godly energies, bringing them all together, bringing our power that we all have. Every single one of us has access to that power. Coming together with the intention of healing, coming together to the ideas of healing and health, coming together with the ideas of love, of change, kindness, compassion, empathy, listening, contemplating. I'll be sharing some ideas today for some people, for sure. Everyone will be challenged a little bit by some of the things I share. Don't be offended. If you feel resistance to something, that's okay. It's not for you, or it's not for you right now. So take what you like. Take what brings you to your bliss or warms your heart. Follow your bliss. Warm your heart. Listen within and take the things that I'm saying and run them through your own personal screen. And the things that you like, those are the things that are speaking to your soul right now. That's where you start. You don't have to embrace all of this. You don't have to agree with everything that I say. I tell you, you won't agree with everything that your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your friend, or anyone else on this planet says. That is life. And don't worry about having a little bit of discrepancy here or there. Again, focus on the aspects that speak to your heart. Take what resonates with you and leave what does not. I'm talking about health. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about getting fit and healthy in the new year. We're talking about what we need to do to be fit and healthy in the new year. But we are talking about what we need to do to be fit and healthy and well for the rest of our lives. So coming together with these intentions, coming together as a community, coming into contact with our higher self. All of us coming together collectively to reach into our spirit, into our soul energy, into our God force, our Christ consciousness, into our divinity. This is where we're intending to go to. We want to come into the greatest parts of ourselves. This is where healing happens. This is where change happens. This is where creation happens. This is where we fix or change or heal anything in our life. This is working with the inner child. This is balancing, integrating the shadow. This is wholeness. This is opening up the heart chakra. This is opening up the third eye. This is seeing within, looking for the intuition, finding the inner wisdom. This is coming into the present, into the moment. This is where acceptance happens. This is where forgiveness happens. This is where we touch the life force energy that we all have. This is imagination. This is visualization. This is no different than the champion and the gold medal. And before the champion receives the gold medal, she sees herself upon the podium with the medal around her neck many times in her mind's eye, in her imagination, in her visualization. She is a success in her mind before she is a success in reality. Yes, it's with the imagination that change happens, through visualization. We're coming together today. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for allowing me to lead you here with some breaths to start us off today. Just watching your breath, just observation of your breath. And you can put any intention, any desire that you would like to see found or discovered for yourself today. You can put that intention out into this moment for yourself. I would love to be able to share my screen and do a PowerPoint presentation. I have a PowerPoint. I wonder if I would be able to share my...
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just a moment.
Thank you.
Yes, from now on you can share your screen.
All right. I'm going to open up our webinar today. I'm going to start with a slideshow presentation. I just find that it helps me to stay on track. And I have a lot of ideas that I would like to share. And if I don't use some sort of guide, I tend to get off track and very easily get sidetracked. I'm talking about a new year. I'm talking about a new you, and I'm telling people that it truly is a change of mind that changes our life. And I want to say that I can't make anybody change their mind. I can only share my experience. I can only model these things. I can only talk about these things today. So I'm just going to share some ideas and in ways how my mind has changed over my lifetime. On this first slide, you see a picture of me here at 19 years of age, and another picture of me at 49 years of age. That was last August. So I'm in my 50th year. And I have lived a life around health and wellness. I've devoted and committed myself to health and wellness. And I want to tell you that the health and wellness that we are told in school, and the health and wellness that is, on the mainstream, that is touted in the media, that's being taught in the magazine, that's being shown on the television, that's being said on the news, that the health and the wellness that is being taught to us is not making us healthy and well. And it took me some time in my life to make that switch. And my mind changed in this way. Between 19 and 49, my mind has changed. And I want to say that there are 12, I think I call the dirty dozen ideas that are being shared in the general population that are blocking us from our health. Truly, it's, I believe, a change of these 12 ideas that I'm going to share with you today. So, I mean, of course, between 19 and 49, a lot of things happened. I don't want to bore you with story after story about myself, but I certainly do want to mention a few key things about my life story that are important here. I want to tell you that I started with my fitness and wellness, my bodybuilding. I started with my bodybuilding at 13 because a boy at school beat me up at recess in front of the girls. I want to tell you that this is my story, that somebody beat me up and embarrassed me, just sort of made a weakness of me in front of others and embarrassed me in front of the girls. I was embarrassed and I vowed that this was not going to happen to me again. And that commitment that I made to myself at 13 was what started this whole thing. It's why I'm here today. A 13-year-old decision. But I also want to tell you that it was a broken mindset that I took this day. This idea that I was not good enough the way that I was. And this broken idea, I was beaten up, and it was a broken motivation that started this. And I want to tell you that that broken mind that started it made me sick. And that it was that broken idea that I took when I was 13 that I had to discover and remove from my program. That I had to recognize that I was enough. That I had enough in me to fix me, change me, heal me, that I was enough to do that. And I didn't have to be bigger or more muscular or anything more in order for that to happen. That it was my spirit energy, my soul energy, my life force energy that I needed to be aligned with and be comfortable with and believe in to heal myself. The next date that I do want to tell you about is when I was 19. That's the picture on the left. I was Mr. Junior Ontario. It was also the time that my mother died. It was the time that my father made me move out of the home and I was alone. It was the time that I started at university. And it was the time that I needed to take a full-time job and I got a job at the gym as a personal trainer to, get my education in kinesiology and psychology, to become a scientist, to become a teacher. I was a teacher. I taught grade 4 to grade 8 for a number of years. I taught nutrition at massage therapy school. I've been a teacher my whole life. My mother was a teacher. I am a teacher. This is who and what I am by nature. It's just how I am. It's what I feel I must do every day. At 19, my mother died, and my negative idea that I wasn't enough that I started with at 13 became worse. I became a victim now, a victim of my mother, a victim of my father, a victim of my circumstances, my life. That my wasn't good enough belief grew worse. That it was this negative mindset that was the undertow of my life. This was the trouble. And it wasn't about bigger muscles. It wasn't about more money. And it wasn't about more girlfriends. And it wasn't about drugs. And I fell into all of these things. I want to tell you about 21. When I was 21, I thought that I was going to be a professional athlete. I thought I was going to be a professional football player, American League football. I was a soccer player as well, too. I was a sprinter. I was a real lifetime athlete. I thought that I was going to be a lifetime athlete. And at 21, while playing football in the game, I was in a life-changing impact. An impact that separated my shoulder was what the critical injury that I thought I had. And that's what I went to the hospital for. And that's what I was diagnosed with. And that's what I said. I hurt my shoulder. And that's what I got x-rayed. And what I didn't know was that I also impacted and collided with my head and separated the bones in my head and jarred the muscles in my spine and destroyed my cerebral spinal fluid pump and the system of that. I created an injury in my body that changed my life, and I didn't know the seriousness of it until now. Until I was able to fix it all and heal it all and become well from it, did I know what it was that I had done. At 21, I changed from footballer to competitive bodybuilder. And by 23, I was in the Mr. Universe competition. And things got worse. I met around some of the best bodybuilders in the world, and I got around some guys that were older and bigger and more involved in this drugs, this anabolic steroids and stimulants. I was going to the clubs. I got into the money, the sex, the drugs. I was alone. I was on my own. I was running around from woman to woman, and I was obsessed with my exercise and ripping my body down and breaking myself up in the gym and eating copious amounts of protein. I did it. I did it to the nth degree. This is when my obsession flipped over into an addiction. I became addicted to these things: money, sex, food, exercise, drugs. That lifestyle, that very physical world. I was an addict of these things. I was finding my happiness and joy here. I'm not judging anyone who is here. I'm not judging anyone here today. I'm just sharing. My mind has changed over time through practice, through making mistakes. My mind has changed. When I was 30, my wife now became pregnant. I have 3 children. I committed to marriage, and at this time I declared bankruptcy to change direction in my life. I felt it was the best thing for me to do. Financially, I shut my business down. I relocated. I had to get a new place for my family. And I recommitted myself and my life, to my wife and my children. Commitment is important. I committed to my wife and my children. I want to tell you at this time at 30 that, I felt like a failure because I was bankrupt. So I took on this negative energy, a lot of self-doubt, a loss of self-belief, a loss of value and worth. I was a victim of life. I wasn't grateful for my life. I lost gratitude. I made these poor decisions, but I made a recommitment to my family. And something happened here, because now I was not a single man anymore. Now I had to worry about the others. And, I wanted to love my family, but this is what I did, is I worried about my family. Now I had to carry, so it was like a burden, that I couldn't be this single guy that, just rolled around and took care of myself. Now I had others to take care of. So now it wasn't just me, I could be okay, I'm a guy, but now I had to worry about the rest. This was a very big time, a big change in my life. And I want to say that I made a mistake here, that instead of loving, I was worrying for them. And I want to tell you that there's a difference between loving the children or loving the partner and worrying for them. I want to say that worry is not love. When I hit 40, it was my second bankruptcy. And this is when I knew something was wrong in my life. I was 40 pounds overweight. I was having very bad sleep problems. 4, 5, 6 nights of the week, I was not able to sleep, and I had to go into sleep medications for a number of years. From before 40, I was already medicated for sleep. I was medicated for acid reflux. I was popping ibuprofen daily for anti-inflammatory. I was feeling pain in my body. So I had an injury at 21 that, because I was so desperate to get back to the gym, because I needed to have my muscles and I needed to have my workouts and I needed to be a professional athlete, and I was afraid that I wouldn't be, I returned back to the gym in a couple of weeks and I trained upon this injury for 20 years. And I almost killed myself with this. I need to be bigger. I need to be more. I need to be in the gym ripping myself and eating protein idea. And at 40, it caught up with me and I declared my second bankruptcy. My relationships were all suffering. I was filled with pain. I had yeast. I had athlete's foot, chronic athlete's foot. I had digestive issues. sleep problems, skin problems. I was broken financially, I was broken emotionally. And I started to search at this time. I was looking for alternative thought processes. So I studied as much as I could. I spent a number of years looking at the Buddha. I looked at Eastern faiths and philosophy. I looked at success. I looked at entrepreneurial mind. I looked at success. I looked at successful thought processes. I tried and studied and practiced. I meditated. I affirmed positively. I got into the mindset. I found Dr. Brian Clement, and he started to share ideas of alkalinity. I started to process these ideas of alkalinity, and I started to open my mind up in this way. And then at 43, I found the work of Dr. Arnold Ehret. And these ideas really began to transform my mind. I found the Pranic lifestyle. I found the ideas of Dr. Morris, Dr. Sebi, and Professor Hilton Hotima. And I say those names hopefully to encourage you to be inspired by these hidden authors. Men that have dedicated their lives to making change on the planet, and ideas that are hidden from the general population, and the general population needs to find them to be healthy and well. And I'm going to be sharing those big influencers in my life today in my presentation for sure, while I go over some of the ways that my mind has changed over the last 30 years of health and wellness. So the first idea that I want to tell you about that needs to go is this idea of the quick fix. And I know that this is a very popular thing, that everything is sold to us this way. We buy everything this way by, it's the solution, buy it, it's the solution. We get sick, we go to the doctor, we want to get some antibiotics. We get sick, we go to the doctor, we want to get a pill. We want to get a pill that fixes us. We're not feeling well, we just want to have a coffee, have another coffee. I want to tell you that I thought I could just be happy and healthy just by filling my body with anabolic steroids at one time in my life. I thought this was a solution. Growth hormones and stimulants was the way for me to work out and be bigger and be better, and that's what mattered. This is a mindset. This is a mindset that we need to get out of. Now, I'd want to tell you that some people do lose weight very quickly. I show you on the left there, there's a picture. It's Rob. I can't believe I've forgotten his name. I think it's Rob. I've forgotten his name for some reason right now at this moment. But Rob here, he's lost 100 pounds in 6 months. So yes, I have seen people lose weight very rapidly. I've seen many people. I've done 30,000 personal training sessions. I've seen many people lose weight very quickly. And I've seen many people not. But I want to tell you that the difference isn't really about calories and proteins and genetics, but it's about emotions and feelings and mindset that makes this difference. That if you believe that you can't lose weight, then that's your reality. That if you say things like, I can't lose weight, or I can't do this, or it's your thoughts and your words that are stopping you from losing weight. A lot of the time, women think that they can't lose weight, especially women over 40 or 50. They say, oh, it's not fair. We can't lose weight as fast as men. Well, you're saying that. You're believing that. I'll tell you, I see this lady here, Barb, on the bottom corner. She lost 25 pounds in 30 days, and she is a mature lady. I saw her do that. I've seen this happen many times. Many women over 30, 40, 50 lose weight quickly. Many do not. Same for men. I want to tell you that this is not about some secret potion or powder or pill, that this is about you and your mind. This is about you and you changing your mind. And I want to tell you to stop buying into this and buying into that and changing this and changing that. You'll see that there are differences of opinion between experts in this field. And I'll tell you, it's because of beliefs. And it depends on the beliefs and the path that the expert took themselves to get to where they are. If you're coming from a science background, then you're going to be educated about the proteins and you'll hold to this. And if you're coming from the spiritualist, the breatharian lifestyle, if you're coming from spirit energy, from Reiki, from sort of energy healing or any kind of religious background, you're coming to health and wellness this way, then you may not have any connection to protein at all. But this is really depending on, and this is the difference you're going to find, whether you're speaking with breatharian or you're speaking with nutritionists, that whether you're coming from the science background or you're coming from the spiritualist background, that you will have a differences of opinion. And that's just why I say you have to decide for yourself and discern what you believe for yourself. We have to get out of this idea that the solution is just the diet or the solution is just an exercise plan. It's a number of sets and reps. It's a certain length of diet. It's a number of days that you fast. It's the amount of weight on the scale. It's the amount of money you have in the bank account. It's the street that you live on. It's the clothes that you wear. That the answer is something simple or quick like this. That you can just text me and get the answer. I want to tell you to get out of this quick fix mental, because this is not what's going to get you healthy. It's going to be a lifestyle. It was an unhealthy lifestyle that made you sick. It will be a healthy lifestyle that you create through habit and behavior and balance that makes you well. Let's leave this idea as fast as we can. The next idea I want to, get rid of is this overload principle. And you see me there on my right, I was, 13, maybe 14 years old. And then you see me at 24 years old, 10 years between the pictures. Mr. North America on the left. And, me with my mom and dad on a Florida vacation. Me at a church picnic, playing a summer game. I want to tell you that this principle of ripping and tearing your body, this idea has been sold to the public. And I want to tell you that I was a part of telling people this idea for 25 years. I was telling people, you have to speed up your metabolism. The way to do it is to, increase your muscle mass. So you have to go into the gym and you have to rip your body. You have to push yourself. You have to strain your muscles so that they get bigger, so that you have more muscle. You have to go home and eat more protein so that you gain more muscle. I shared this idea that they taught this idea to us in kinesiology in school and university, on the magazines, in the gyms, that these ideas are taught to us. We get them through the world, through the images on TV and magazine, and the message that people are telling us, from here to there, you have to push yourself. I want to tell you that it was the push that made me sick and unwell. It was the protein and the push. These ideas, this overload principle, this ripping yourself, like you need to kill yourself to be well. This is not how you become well. In order to speed up your metabolism, to get your metabolism burning more calories, it's not about calories. Your health and your wellness is not about calories. Macronutrients and calories. This is the next one. Like, this is what they tell us. Carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. You know, carbohydrates have 4 calories, and fats have 9 calories, and proteins have 4 calories. You know, this is how we are taught to think, that we are what we eat. This is what we're told. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. These are the things that we are sold. These ideas are what we hear. We hear them. We see them on TV. We hear our friends say them. We hear people saying them around us for our lifetime. And we think and we say them and believe them because other people are thinking and saying and believing them too. And so because they're saying them, we're saying them, we're thinking and saying them while we breathe, because this is how we reprogram the mind. We think and say things while we breathe. And as we think and say these words over 30 or 40 or 50 years, that we come to believe these things. That's how belief happens. Through repetition, beliefs are formed. How did you learn ABCD? How did you learn to read? Through repetition. This is how we change a belief, create a belief. If you want to change your beliefs, just repeat something new to yourself. It's a practice. It's a habit that creates a belief. You can create belief. You can change belief. And that you have been made to believe this thing. That carbohydrates, proteins, and fats are what's going to make you happy, healthy, and well. It's not true. You cannot get healthy with this paradigm of thought. That the health paradigm is at a lower level than this. That this top level view is a silly introduction to nutrition. And it's what's at the root of your sickness. That truly, if there's anything that we need to talk about with nutrition, it's not macronutrient at all. It's micronutrient that makes us well. We have to come out of this idea of calories in general. It's not about calories. It's about whether or not that food is alive. You are a live being and you must have live food. Most of your food must be live, not a certain number of calories or a certain grams of protein. It's that you've been thinking like that for 30 or 40 or 50 years, that belief has come into your mind, and you, a metaphysical being, have been shrunk down to this silly idea that you're sustained in this way. This programming has been given to you over 30 or 40 or 50 years of life. That you came to think that and believe that I am these calories, I have to take this energy in to expend this energy. You keep thinking like this, and this is how you become to believe that you are sustained by food. You've been programmed into this through repetition over years. And to come out of that, you're going to have to repeat something new. Think and say and do something different. A new lifestyle will have to be adopted, and the old one will have to be removed slowly. It will go away. It can go away. This old programs, these broken ideas that are holding us back, we can move beyond them. At the beginning, it will seem challenging, but it's okay. The next one is the protein myth. Oh boy, everyone's talking about the protein and how good and important the protein is, I want to tell you some things about this protein. The protein is a myth. They looked at our cell and they looked at the organelles in the cell, and they saw that inside the cell, the organelles were made up of protein. And so they thought that we must need to eat protein to be healthy and well. And I can see the logic in it, but it isn't true. It's that you are not the cell. It is that you are the energy that courses through the cell. And you can really see this when you think, when you die, the cells will still be here, but you will be gone. And so you are not the cell. I want to tell you that this protein idea, protein comes from the Latin word protease. And I want to tell you that that is 450 years old, that once they discovered the microscope, that protein was the first element that they found looking at the cell. And it was a powerful thing then that they found protein, the source of life. And 450 years ago, they were toting this protein focus. And 450 years later, they are still doing it, and we are still buying it. I thought this. If you look, we've been brainwashed into these proteins. If you look at this other image here, you see there's all these amino acids that are inside the apple. I want to tell you that it isn't protein that the body needs to make any protein or any cell, if you want to think that way. It isn't protein that the body needs. It's amino acid that the body needs. So I want to break that idea today as much as I can. Get away from this thinking or speaking about protein. This is a fallacy. It's stopping you. If you keep chasing the protein, you'll think, if I eat the apple, then I won't get my proteins. But you'll get all of your amino acids in the apple. So you'd think you don't get what you need from the apple because it has no protein, but it doesn't. You need to digest protein to get amino acids. So if you see in this image here, here's a protein chain. It's a chain of molecules, a colorful chain of molecules. It's an amino acid chain. Protein is an amino acid chain. And if you eat the protein, then the body needs to create this enzyme, protease, to digest the protein, to separate it into its individual parts, the amino acid molecules. If there's anything that the human body needs at all, it would be amino acid molecules. And I'm going to tell you that it isn't even that. But if you take one thing here today, move from protein to the concept of amino acid, because this will help you to see that the fruits and the vegetables contain all of the amino acids and everything that you need. We need to come away from this idea of animal proteins. I stopped eating animal proteins at 43. I mean, when I say stopped, I did come to a stop at some point, and I did go completely without. And I'm not telling you now that you need to be without. And I would not tell you this now. I would tell you that you need a little bit of proteins. If you need some, if you need a little bit of amino acids, you need a little bit of animal protein. If you want to take a little bit of animal protein, if you need some eggs, if you need some fish, if you need some goat cheese, if you need some Parmesan cheese, if you need a little bit of feta cheese, if you need little bits of protein here and there. If you look at ancient nutrition practices like, I'm forgetting the words now, but it's a, oh geez, I'm sorry, I've forgotten the ancient nutritional practice that includes ghee. Does anyone know this?
Is it Ayurveda? No?
Ayurveda, yes. Right.
Mhm.
Ayurveda. If you look at the Ayurveda nutrition, that it's mostly live foods, fruits and vegetables mostly, but they include some protein products like ghee. So, you know, some cheese, it's like a cheese. It's like a little bit of a dairy. It's a little bit of animal protein. So a little bit, but minuscule. You don't need a lot of this. It's a part, but it is not the foundation. And we need to come away from this building our nutrition around this. This is not the center of nutrition. But if you come from a science background, you're going to have to come away from this belief in mind, because I used to have this belief, and I used to eat a dozen eggs in the morning and a dozen eggs at night, and fish during the day and poultry during the day and meat during the day. On top of that, I had all these numbers of meals, and I thought I needed it, and I didn't think I could live without it. And I tell you now that I can live without it, and it's because I have changed my mind. And through belief and habit and behavior and understanding, I've come away from these things. I don't need them anymore. I want to talk about the sugars. The next one is the sugar. There's a sugar war. They're telling everyone, stay away from the sugars. Sugars are bad. Sugars give you cancer. Sugars give you disease. I tell you that they're misleading here. And they're wrapping everything up in sugars as bad. And I want to tell you that there is a sugar that is perfect for you. And I want you to understand some of the differences between sugars. And I want to tell you that we've got fructose and glucose here. And you can see the molecules here. And you can see that at the molecular level, that these sugars are principally the same, but there is a tiny little bond difference, a single bond difference that changes the shape of the molecule ever so slightly, that the body can be fueled by the glucose, but over 30 or 40 or 50 years of fueling the body that way, that sickness, illness, and disease will come into the body. I want to tell you that this little difference in our nutrition happened about 12,000 years ago. And I want to tell you that this happened really because we started to get civilized, and we started to come into communities, and we started to move into growing wheat in the field and pulling the wheat off the field and pounding that wheat down and killing it and denaturing it. And this is when we stopped eating live foods, and we started to kill the wheat, pound it into a flour, because that flour was glucose and it could sit on the shelf indefinitely. And I want to tell you that it was economy that drove this, that people were making money by growing fields and selling these baked goods to the population, and the population started to live this way. It was economical that people were making money from this, that the rich were getting richer, and this was a cheap way to sustain the population. And the population lived and grew this way and flourished this way. And truthfully, what they needed was to eat fructose, but fructose, fruit sugar, can't stay on the shelf for more than 2 weeks before it goes bad and goes stale and has to be thrown away. So it became an economical change, a shift in the society, the structure of society. The health started to go away when we started to believe this. And then in the last 100 years, 150 years, we started to have a more scientific worldview. And through study of the human diet that we had now evolved into in the last 10,000 years, that we started to decide that we were glucose eaters. And they teach us this in school, that if you're a doctor, you learn that you're a glucose eater. And if you ask anybody and that's educated in nutrition, they'll tell you the human is a glucose eater. But it's not true. The human is a fructose eater. Fructose is a live sugar. Glucose is a dead one. And so is sucrose. Sucrose is a table sugar. They take glucose and fructose, they put it together. That's two molecules, a disaccharide, two molecules together. This molecule, table sugar, is a dead molecule. This is going to raise your insulin. These glucose sugars, glucose, lactose, maltose, disaccharides, polysaccharides, starches, all of these sugars, breads, all the way to the cooked and processed foods, are all down the chain, bigger chains of glucose molecules. All of them over 30 or 40 years will give you blood sugar diseases, problems with insulin, pancreas function, toxicity within the body. And it's really because we've been denatured. We've come from our nature. Look at what is natural and look at what our closest relative is. Look at the great apes, and what do they eat? Predominantly fruits and leafy green vegetables, and some nuts and seeds and roots, and some insects. A little bit of proteins, amino acids, proteins. It's not even the protein. You've got to come from this idea of protein. We have to come down to amino acid. We have to come down below that, below amino acid level, to the molecular level, to the atomic level. We need to get down to the atoms to understand health. We cannot get it at this top level view that the whole world has. It's making us sick. This worldview of nutrition and health that keeps getting sold to us. Look at the health of the population. The whole world is getting obese. Sickness, illness, and disease is rampant. We're locked down here because of disease. I want to tell you that they're telling us about health, and we are overcome with sickness, illness, and disease because they are telling us the wrong thing about health. This is what is the trouble. We need a new paradigm, a new energy paradigm, a new understanding of health and wellness, and it needs to be shared. It's hidden and it needs to be shared. And this is why we need to come together in communities and share these ideas, because people don't know and people don't understand. And it's such a dramatic change of thought process in order to understand that you need to sit with someone for 90 minutes to have some sort of dialogue with them so that they can even begin to understand how wrong they have become. I want to tell you that, we're told we get our energy from food. But truthfully, I know many people that go more than 30 days without food. 3 months without food. I know many people. I have many friends. I have many friends myself. I can tell you myself, I have many friends that have gone 30 days and 3 months without food. I'm telling you that you can go 30 days and 3 months, even 3 years even. You could become that good that you could live on very little food. Yes, little or none. Yes, that's what I'm telling you is true. So it's not about food. Food is not the energy. That there is an energy that we get from food, but there is a cost to eating food. And over 30 or 40 or 50 years of eating 3, 4, 5 meals a day, because this is what we're told. Eat, 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 eat. If you don't eat, that this is unhealthy. That is, you're unhealthy if you're empty. They've put this idea in you that you're unhealthy if you're empty. This is a sickness. This is a sick idea that you can't go a day without food. How many days have you gone without food? So many people, 30, 40, 50 years, haven't gone a day without food. What is this? There's nothing that is supposed to be done all the time. Even the sun is not up all of the time. The sun shares its time. The winter shares its time with the summer. Everything in nature has time and has time not. So to be eating 3, 4, 5 times a day, every day you must do this. This is something wrong here already. It is not about the food. If you come a little bit and use your logic, you'll see less people have gone 3 weeks without water. Very few. How many people have gone 3 weeks without water? But I want to tell you that you can. That yes, you can even do this. Some people have done it, but very few people have done it. I want to tell you that we're more dependent on the water than we are on the food. See that. See what authentic nutrition is about. See what's really sustaining your being. It's water. And when you're eating those cooked and processed foods, you're dehydrating yourself. It's sucking up the water inside of your body, shriveling you up. You are aging yourself. The third thing is the air. Few people have gone 3 minutes without air. Very few people have gone 3 minutes without air. Truly, what is it that sustains the being? The being is an air being. And the ability to process air, your ability to process air is what determines your ability to be healthy. More than anything else, your lungs detoxify your body. You're an air-breathing machine. Anaerobic metabolism. It happens in the mitochondria inside of your cells. That ATP production is created. Energy, cellular energy is created in the mitochondria through the intake of oxygen and the release of carbon dioxide, and through the Krebs cycle, through the electron transport chain, that the energy that's in the oxygen molecule is converted through processes of degeneration, electroatomic level processes where electrons are shared and exchanged from one process to another. That the being, the cell, gets energy. Cellular energy comes from air, from hydrogen, H2O, water, from light. The sun is a hydrogen ball of light. It shines hydrogen molecules on you. You are nourished this way, or can be, if you have an understanding of this and if you prepare yourself for it. If you begin to think and speak about it and get around it, you can do this too. But it's an understanding that you have to get. It's a new knowledge. It's a new information. It's a change of mind that changes your life. I like to talk about authentic nutrition. Like, nutrition is not about calories and proteins and grams and fats and vitamins and minerals and all of this stuff. This is not what truly nourishes the being. This is not how the being gets nutrition. To go further, I said, like, at least come from the protein to the amino acid idea. And if you look at the amino acid molecule, you'll see at the molecule is a number of atoms. See the atoms. Carbon, C, O, oxygen, H, hydrogen, and then a side chain has a number, the R, a side chain has a number of molecules there. Do not get too disturbed with this. Each amino acid, there's different amino acids have different side chains. Focus on this general structure of an amino acid at the atomic level is a carbon, a hydrogen, and a nitrogen. You don't need protein, you need nitrogen. Look at the water. The water has the hydrogen. The water has the oxygen. So the water has everything in the amino acid except for the nitrogen and the carbon. Well, the carbon's in the fruit. The carbon is a fruit. You're a carbon being, a fructose eater, a carbon being, a carbon eater. You need carbon, you need oxygen. Oxygen is in the water. Oxygen is in the air. If you look in the air is made up of 70% nitrogen. You breathe in the nitrogen. The amino acid has the what? The N, the nitrogen. You eat the protein to get the nitrogen. You can get the nitrogen out of the air. Truly, you are a water drinker, breathing being. This is how the being is nourished. The being is nourished by the light of the sun or the structured water, the water that's in contact with the earth, because the earth has a charge, an electric charge, a current, an electron, an atomic energy. The earth does, the light does, the structured water does. The water that's on the earth, because the earth is a big blue-green ball that sits in the light of the sun. It's always in the light of the sun, and therefore it's always has and carries a charge. That charge, that electronic charge, that's the nourishment of the body. It's an electron charge. It's not a calorie. It has nothing to do with calories. It's an atomic level energy. And when I say atomic level energy, I want you to understand this. Atomic level energy is electrons and protons. Atomic level energy is two. It's physical. It's masculine and feminine. It's proton and electron, positive and negative, yin and yang. It's two. It's an electron that spins around a proton. The electron spins around the proton indefinitely, and the electron does not need to eat. The electron spins around the proton forever without food. That they're at a level you can tap into your atomic energy, and it has nothing to do with food. It is about breath and water. This is the true nourishment of the being. And it's not just any old water. I have to talk about the water, clean water. You have to use clean water. Like the water that's in the tap has fluoride or chloride. You cannot drink this water and be healthy and well. You'll become sick from this water too. You need a clean water. It must be a distilled water. Use a distilled water. I encourage you to use a distilled water, but not only a distilled water that you now invigorate it in some way. How to invigorate that water, put it in the light of the sun, put your intentions upon it, cut up some fruit, some lemons, and put it in your water. Don't just drink the water from the tap. Drink distilled water and cut up fruits and put it inside. Or get yourself a hydrogen water bottle. Hydrogen water, structured water. You need a way to structure or energize your water, because the water in nature is sitting on the earth. And when it's sitting on the earth, it is getting charged from the earth or it's in the light of the sun. So it's being invigorated by the sun, that when the water, the H2O, gets into the light, that it becomes charged. It becomes H3, H3O. This is structured water. This is the first stage of photosynthesis. This is the first process of nourishment. It's that the tree captures the light of the sun and captures that light through photosynthesis. It structures the water and puts that structured water inside of the fruits or the vegetables, that the plants take the light of the sun and capture the hydrogen, the inspired hydrogen, H3, the electron. It's not changed, it's still hydrogen, H2O, but an electron becomes shared. That's an atomic energy. Atomic energy, imagine electrons spinning around a proton. Imagine an electron spinning around a proton and spinning around, the electron spins forever around the proton. And what the electron does, the electron, the feminine, the electricity, the feminine, it is so inspired by him, she loves him, that she goes toward him. And when she goes toward him, she falls over him. That she has an attraction, a magnetism of the earth, of all things. That there's a magnetism and an electricity, an electrical and electromagnetic energy is here. This is what the human is. An electromagnetic being. It is not about calories that sustains this being. It's because you've been told that for 30 or 40 or 50 years, that because you've been told that and heard that and watched that and listened to that and read that and said that you believe that.
Shut off the Wi-Fi.
Through a repetition that you have come to believe these things. That you've been programmed in this way, and you can come out of this program and you can stop believing these things. That these things are untruths or half-truths at best. That the authentic nutrition of the human is not this. That the authentic nutrition of the human being is hydrogen and oxygen and carbon and nitrogen. And that all of these things are in the structured water, in the light of our sun, and in the in and the out breath. The next thing that I want to talk about here is the fasting lifestyle. This is the next idea that we have to start to get our mind around. I already said that the population has been scared into this idea that it's bad to not eat food, or it's bad to be hungry. You may not feel well when you're hungry, and so because you don't feel well, you think that something is bad. I want to tell you that if you become a cigarette smoker, that if you don't have a cigarette, that you won't feel well. Does that mean that cigarettes are a part of your healthy routine? Obviously, you see that when you become addicted to something, that you become attenuated to it, that you become compromised to it and by it. And so because you don't feel well when you don't eat food, you think that that's bad, that that's not bad. That's just you feeling bad because you're addicted to food. It's that you must come away from that addiction that you have. And just like the cigarette smoker makes a mistake and goes back, you're going to go back too. So you cannot force this away from food. This has been 50, 30, 40, 50 years of programming that has to be reversed. You need to slowly come away from this idea. Fasting is the way to do that. Intermittent fasting, daily fasting, weekly fasting. Yes, an extended fast once a week. 1, 2, 3, 4 days, plenty. If you can do a 1-day fast once a week, you need to push yourself into a fast. This is what this weekly community is about. This is at the crux of it. It's when we fast that the body cleanses itself. And the cleansing happens at the level of the lymphatic system. Now, I want to tell you that the lymphatic system, or the immune system, is an idea that's been hidden from you. They have taken away from the education the lymphatic system, and they have inserted this idea of sickness, illness, and disease. There's been a transition of truth in the education. They took out lymphatic system knowledge, immune system understanding, and they gave you, or programmed you, or taught you sickness, illness, and disease. You need to be afraid of these sicknesses, illnesses, and diseases. And so you press out into life, an incredible creator you are, worrying about sickness, illness, and disease. I want to tell you that whatever you worry about, you create in your life. And that's what's happening right now. That a fearful idea has been placed in your mind, and that they are progressively every day repeating a fearful idea into your mind and pushing you that way, making you unhealthy and sick. These ideas of sickness, illness, and disease can go away. We can let go of this paradigm, and we can switch it with a lymphatic understanding, an immune system understanding how this system works. And we can do so many things that we don't know until we spend some time fasting for a period of time. Like, and I don't just mean I did a 3-day fast, I did a 30-day fast. I'm not talking about how long you fasted. It's not about how long you fasted. It's about the practice of doing it every week, daily, every week, for a period of time that you become changed by it, that you gain a knowledge and understanding from it. It's not something that you get just because you attained a certain number of days of fasting. You can't just fast it away. It's like you need to learn something from this experience. And if you practice this for weeks or months, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, or a year, that you will understand it differently than you do. Even if I tell you and you understand it today, you need to fast. You may embrace this idea today, but until you've done it for a year, you will see after a year of fasting, or even just a week of it, you'll see something, know something different after you do it. That you'll be changed from it. That the practice of it will help you to become well. That you need to practice it because that's what the lymphatic system is triggered by. Fasting triggers the lymphatic system to eliminate waste. You are filled up with waste because you've been sold this idea that you need to eat 3, 4, 5 times a day for 30, 40, 50 years, and you've been following this. And because of this, your body has been filled up with food all the time, and the cells are pushing their waste into the lymphatic system, which has become clogged. Your immune system has become clogged from overeating. Yes, you're strangling yourself in your own mucus and waste. You're starving yourself of oxygen and dampening all of your emotion and energy. Your cells are sitting in a puddle of mucus and waste and acid. You're feeling pain in your body, aches and pains. You think it's old age. I tell you, old age is a disease. It's an addiction. It's a habit. It's a thought process. It's an understanding that we learn. That you can regenerate yourself, but this is not going to be an overnight thing. It's not a force thing. It is a re-education. It's a new understanding. It's a new mindset. It's a new mind that will change your life. Elimination is the new nutrition. If you're over 40, if you're over 50, you've really got to start moving to this understanding. You've eaten enough in your life. You need to start to come to half food. If this world could come to half meat, this would be a wonderful thing. Our world is savagely beating and killing animals. This is a problem. As long as we are all engaged in this process of beating and killing animals, as long as we have this cruelty in our culture, in our daily nutrition, as long as we turn a blind eye to this and say, someone needs to die for me to live today. And I'm not saying that you need to stop eating meat, and I don't want to tell you that you need to stop meat. I'm not saying that, but you need to go to half meat at least. This world needs to come to half meat at least. And if you can go to 1/4 meat or 1/10 meat, 1/8 meat, that would be wonderful. And you can. And that the true nutrition, the true health is elimination of waste. That, 100 years ago, Dr. Arnold Ehret was doing cadaver studies, cutting open dead bodies and finding in there 10 to 15 pounds of fecal waste. Could you imagine carrying around 10 or 15 pounds of fecal waste? What? Shit. Carrying around 10 or 15 pounds of shit, extra shit, every single day, all day long. What's in there? Bacteria, virus, disease inside your body in warm darkness. I want to tell you that 100 years after Dr. Arnold discovered this fact, that the diet has gotten so much worse than it was 100 years ago, that today cadaver studies will show you that there is 15 to 30 pounds of fecal waste or shit inside of your body that you're carrying around. Inside of your lymphatic system, it's even worse. And your lymphatic system is a series of tubes that could stretch from here to the moon and back. That's how big this system is. You cannot clear it out in a day, a night, a weekend, a 3-day detox, a 30-day fast. Get out of this idea. Look at it over a number of years. If you are 30, it's at least a year or so to come to wellness. If you are 40, you're looking at this over a couple of years. If you are 50, look at this over 3 years. And if you're over 60, you're looking at 44 to 10 years to be healthy and well. That's how long it's going to take you to clear all of this shit out of your body and clear out your lymphatic system and restore your perfect health and wellness again. Yes, you can. You just need the right information, the right motivation, the right accountability, the right support. And that's what these groups are about, weekly fasting. I have a group, I have a private group. Join our groups, get involved, get around, share, talk, share, be accountable, step up, change yourself, change your life. Yes, you can. I want to tell you that authentic nutrition is light. Authentic nutrition is air. I want to tell you about the pH scale. This is a very important thing to understand, and it's very much confused and misunderstood. The pH scale is acid balance in the body. I want to tell you that at 7, at neutral, this is distilled water. That's what the center of the pH scale is built upon, distilled water. Clean, natural water, distilled water. This is the center of the scale. That to the right of the scale up to 14 is alkaline, to the left is acid, and we need both. That the cell is homogeneous or in ideal state at 7.4. This is at the level of the cell, the interstitial fluid inside of the cellular tissue. That this needs to be around 7.4 to move through the processes of the Krebs cycle within the mitochondria to create ATP or energy for the body. But I want to tell you that this becomes disturbed more, not because of what's in the interstitial fluid, but what's happening in the extrastitial fluid in the outside, that in the lymphatic system, where there is a series of tubes through the entire body, that the cells put their waste into the lymphatic system. But once the lymphatic system becomes clogged, that now that clog, that sewage is coming up and sitting in the cells, and the cells are smothered by this mucus waste that's trapped in the lymphatic system. And now your life is dampened and everything seems dull. And you can't hear or see or smell or taste or anything as well as you used to, because your cells are sitting in muck and mire. By the time you're 40 or 50, you need to come from this idea of eating and come to this idea that you need to stop eating, that you need to clean out your body. It's a change of mind. Yes, and you have to be happy too. So to be fasting and happy, this is a thing. Yes, it can happen. Because we have to come back to our authentic nature. By nature, we are happy, healthy, and well. And this is what we must practice. We must begin to practice happiness and health and wellness and fasting and cleansing the body and getting out into nature and moving and breathing and singing and being in relationship and friendship and communication and dialogue and trust and faith with each other. But I want to tell you that health and love are the same thing. That, you know, when I was 43 and I found the ideas of Dr. Arnold Ehret, and I started to cleanse my body and I started to do the enemas, and not at first, but over time, I came into these ideas and cleansed my body and fasting and nature and meditation and affirmation and positive thoughts and words and practicing these things daily, that I started to feel more joy and happiness coming in my life, that I started to come more into my joyful, happy, playful, childlike self started to come back around, that as I started to get actually healthy, that I started to love myself and love my wife and love my children again and get passionate about my work and my direction and what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. I started to get clarity and I started to really love myself. And that I want to tell you that health and love, self-love, they are linked. That they are the same thing, that they're a frequency, they're a vibration, that if you're practicing health, you're practicing love, that this is what it is that love is the creative energy that's within us. This is the higher self energy. This is the soul energy. This is the Christ consciousness. This is health. The consciousness, the soul, the spirit is always healthy. The spirit doesn't need to eat and it lives forever. We have to take a mental, physical, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional. We need to take a holistic view of ourselves, that we are physical and we are metaphysical. So if you could imagine that, you know, you are body and mind. What's the mind? The mind would be the brain. Well, the brain is part of the body. You are body. And you are spirit. And that body can be divided into brain and body, or mind and body. And spirit could be broken into spirit and emotion. Emotion is felt in the body, and spirit is connecting to the whole, a part of it all. So at opposite ends, you are two poles. You are body and metaphysical. You are two poles. You are two. You are masculine and feminine. You are creator and destroyer. See the energy of destroyer, little boys running around, beating each other up and breaking things, jumping off of the couch. See the energy of little girls, the feminine, playing loving games, creative imagination. See the energy of the divine feminine, the creative energy. See that we are two, we are both, and we cannot be one or the other, that we need both in order to find balance and come back into balance. And that this is what health and wellness is finding this balance between the masculine and the feminine within ourselves, between the creator and destroyer within us, between the left and the right brain, the conscious and the subconscious mind. That this balancing, this teetering, this harmony is love. That it's two. It's the masculine and the feminine. I want to tell you that in every moment, you're perfect. I want to remind you of, the golden rule of the promise of creation. I love the quote by the Buddha: the mind is everything. What you think, you become. What you believe is going on. See it in the world now. Some believe there is a killer virus and they're living in fear. You can be living in fear and you will be creating disease. Or you can live in love, live in the energies of love, in hopefulness, in opportunity, in excitement, in self-belief and self-worth and self-value and gratitude. That you can live in your higher self values, principle-centered living. You can live from within yourself and around yourself. See the golden rule: do unto others as you would have been done to you. Love yourself and love your brother as yourself. Love the other. Love yourself and love the other. You can't love yourself, you can't love the other until you love yourself. You'll love the other better when you do love yourself more. You have the power. You have the health. You have the love. You have the loving power, the force within you. It's your decision, what you decide in each moment. Remember the promise, the divine promise. The force of creation, the force of God, the spirit energy, the creative force is here all of the time. That means it's with you in this moment right now. That it's here, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. It's here within you. It's here around you. And it's here all of the time. It's within you and around you all of the time. That the force of love, the force of God, the force of creation, God's loving energy, health, is within you and around you all of the time. Understand that some of us are wired to go within. The masculine does this. Father goes in and he focuses on his things and he says, don't bother me, kids, don't bother me. And he learns to be like this. This is how he loves his family. By focusing down, he creates something in his business to take care of his family. It's father's love. It's masculine. It's discipline. It's the focused mind to focus down on yourself. It is the love within. And see mother's love. Mother is turning out to take care of the kids. Love, honey, would you like something to eat? Would you like something to eat? What can I do for you? How can I help you? This is the mother's love. She's turning out. She learns to turn out. He learns to turn in. The love is within you and around you. It is not right or wrong, one way or the other way. Both are right. Both are necessary. That he needs her, she needs he. They need each other. These are just left and right brain. These are just different ways of working with the same thing. These are just different ways of thinking and looking at the same problems, is looking at life in a different way. That husband is looking down and in, and he sees things from his perspective and she sees things from hers, and she thinks that he is selfish and he thinks that she is foolish. Understand that you're both just looking from the opposite sides. And that if you would look from your masculine and he would look from his feminine, that you'd see the same thing from the opposite side. And that you can learn to be ambidextrous in mind, that you can learn to look from your left and your right, and that you can find the love around you, or you can find the love within you in every single moment. That you are sustained in every single moment by love within you and around you. And when you can learn to think from both sides, that you will be able to find yourself out of any problem. But it is that you have only learned to use your right hand or your left hand why you become stuck. Just the moment, just the breath, the in and the out breath is whole. The in and the out breath is complete. The in and the out breath is two. Yin and yang, both are there. It is whole. Each breath is a whole moment. I want to tell you about time, and I want to say, before there was seconds and minutes and hours and days and weeks and months and years, before there was these things, these constructs in your mind, that there was time. That before there was time, there was time. Only it wasn't measured in this way, that it was put upon you, this thought of time, so that you could get up and work for the leadership. That this concept of time is part of the problem. You need to do it now. You're running out of time. You have to get to work. You have to do this. These things are boundaries that are not natural. That we live in an unnatural world, and time is at the root of it. That the sickness, illness, and disease is not going to heal in a certain amount of time. People say, how long do I have to do it for? You need to learn how to love it. It needs to become a part of your lifestyle. It's not about a certain amount of time. I want you to let go of this concept of time. It's making you sick. We have to come to this concept of moments, and that a moment is an in and an out breath, and that in every moment you have the power to create your love or your fear, your heaven or your hell. And that is what you are doing, consciously or unconsciously. You are creating your sickness or your disease on a moment-to-moment basis. See the two aspects of yourself. See the masculine and the feminine within you. You are two. You are both. Everything here is two. See that the masculine is the decision maker or the self-discipline, and this is the daily practice. That's what daily practice does. You go to the gym, you go for exercise every day because that's a part of your practice. You go for a walk, you go for some movement, you go for some yoga, you go for a stretch, you do a workout. Get into my page, and I'm going to have a workout for you every week, a full body health and wellness workout, a full body fitness, a movement, a full body movement practice, a habit, a behavior, a movement practice. This develops the discipline, just like taking away the food, fasting every day. This is a practice. It develops a discipline. When you create discipline, you're strengthening your masculine mind. That's your decision maker. You decide in the masculine, I am going to get healthy this year. I am going to be well. I am going to be fit, healthy, and well. That's a decision. I am going to do this. I don't care. I'm getting fit. I'm getting healthy. I'm getting well. That's a decision. You make it in the masculine mind. And this is the seed. It comes from the man. Understand that just like the sun sends the light to the Mother Earth, just like Father Sun sends the light to Mother Earth, and Mother Earth takes that light and creates the birds, the feathers, the hairs, the skin, everything that crawls and runs and walks and breathes on this planet. All life comes from the light of the Father. Inspired by the Father, the mother, the female, creates. The feminine, the subconscious, creates from the decision of the conscious mind, from the decision of the masculine mind. You must have a disciplined masculine mind. You must develop your self-discipline. You must make a decision every day in each moment. I'm deciding to love myself. I'm deciding to be healthy. I'm deciding to believe in myself. I'm deciding to believe in my value and my worth. I believe that I have the power within me to be happy, healthy, and well. And I believe that I can do that. You've got to think it and say it. You've got to believe it in mind. In the masculine mind, make the decision. But then to make it grow, we have to grow it in the imagination, in the feminine mind. That it grows in the feminine, that all life grows in the feminine, that all things grow in the feminine. That it's the feminine that heals us. But don't make a mistake here. You can make yourself sick with your feminine. You can love yourself. She will love him. Even if he's being mean to her, she still love him. She'll make herself sick with love for him. That you can't make yourself, you can make yourself sick with the feminine. Without the masculine part, you just get caught in the feminine, the feeling, I'm just going to drink coffee. I want to feel like it. I'm just going to eat yummy food. I feel like it. I just don't feel like getting up today. I don't feel like doing anything. If you go with just the feeling, the feeler, then you're going to spin out in circles. You're going to end up in an addiction. Whether it's food, drugs, or screens, or work, or whatever your addiction. And addicted to a poor relationship, addicted to spending money, addicted to working, addicted to some food or drug, coffee or alcohol, addicted to working out, I was. That you need both. Self-discipline will get you out of your addiction. You need the masculine to rescue you. That the masculine is the seed that must direct the feminine to create in the right way, in the right place, in the way that you have decided in the masculine mind that I am getting healthy, and then I need to imagine or visualize myself becoming healthy. It's to say, I am getting healthy, and then to imagine health growing inside of me right now in this moment. While I breathe in and breathe out, I need to think of health growing inside of me. Could you imagine health or love or wealth or abundance or relationship growing in your mind while you breathe? Can you see how that creative thought is different than talking about what's going on in your relationship or talking about what's going on with your financial trouble? Do you see how creating is different than talking about the problem? Do you see that we've been taught to think and speak about the problems? Do you see that it's a change of mind that changes your life? I want to say that meditation is the foundation. This is where the mind is changed. I want to tell you that there's 2 times in the day where the subconscious mind is ready for reprogramming. That when you wake up in the morning, that when you're asleep during the night, that you're in your unconscious. And as you start to come to wake up, you start to come to consciousness. And then at some point you become conscious. And then you start, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to go here, I got to do it, I got to, you don't understand, I do. Yeah, this is the stuff that you go into. Now, before you go on carrying on with that stuff, you must do something more important if you want to be healthy and well. Set your alarm clock 10 or 15 minutes earlier then if you don't have time, because you need 10 or 15 minutes at least to kind of just come to consciousness and just first start off maybe with observation. There's no order of right or wrong, but I just for suggestion's sake, take some time to just observe what's happening in the mind this morning. Just breathing and watching what's going on in the mind here right now. What am I creating in my life? What I think about creates my reality. What am I thinking about? Just observation, no judgment, no comparing, no right or wrong or good or bad or any of these ideas, just observation. Just being present with, just watching the breath and being with the mind. In and out breath and mind. And then take some time where you are affirmation, making decisions, deciding, I am getting healthy and well. I am loving my wife. I am loving my children. I am loving my work, my career, my clients, my friends, my extended families. I'm loving the other people that I share the planet with, the trees, the planet itself, the sun, the earth, my life. I'm grateful for it. Coming into gratitude and affirmation and positive dialogue. These are decisions. These are practices. These are mental practices you decide upon. These are masculine decisions. I'm doing these things. And then embellish them by bringing them into the emotional body or the feeling body. Feel them into your reality, in your imagination. Feel these things happening to you. Like imagine yourself growing in health or wellness or money or abundance or joy, or see your year, see your day, see your week. I'm going to exercise today. I'm going to eat this. This are the foods I'm going to eat. This is how I'm going to see my relationship today. This is how the patience I'm going to have for my relationship with my children or my wife or my partner or my clients. This is the type of energy that I'm going to have today. Imagine love. Imagine joy. Imagine happiness. Imagine peace. Spend some time in observation, some time in decision, affirmation, or gratitude, some sort of physical mental practice, masculine mental practice. Spend some time in feminine visualization. The athlete sees themselves on the podium before they're on the podium. You have to see yourself becoming successful today, this week, this year. You have to start thinking about how you want this year to be. As a community, weekly fasting, we need to see ourselves affecting the world, helping people to see a new paradigm of health, helping people to change their mind, see something else, see something different, visualization, conscious breathing. Every day, getting into some movement, some conscious breathing, some meditation in the morning, again in the night when we're going back into sleep, the same thing, mental reprogramming there as well. Twice a day, if you can, some time with self, with conscious breath, with observation, with intentions and imagination. And then movement. Some daily movement. Getting moving, getting walking, getting breathing, some yoga. Use the whole body, stretch and strengthen the whole body. Get a full body exercise program on my page. Join my page, join my group. Let's do exercise every week. Let's fast together. Let's talk about it. Let's be accountable to each other. Accountability is a part of it. Speaking, asking questions, talking, dialogue, relationship, friendship. This is how it happens, through relationship dialogue. We support each other. Fast weekly. Take at least a 24-hour fast, an extended fast. It's a practice. It's a habit. It becomes a way of life through your habit, through the practice, through the behavior. You will learn to understand yourself differently, better. Your mind will change. Your mind will change through the practice. Fasting daily, intermittent fasting, 14 or 16 hours a day practicing. And ending dinner at 7 p.m. and then not eating breakfast until 11, 12, later into the day. So you're eating in a small eating window, learning to eat at certain times and learning to not eat. We need to find comfortability with food and without food. And it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you can't ever have anything cooked foods. Yes, we need to reduce the cooked foods and proteins. It's true, but it doesn't mean we need to eliminate them. It is not about elimination, and I will never teach it. I don't teach it. You have to be able to have a cookie and a muffin and a piece of cake and a glass of alcohol if you want for the rest of your life. And if you cannot get your mind around that and find some balance and build some new boundaries, that comes through self-discipline, through a change of thought and word, through a practice, through habit. Fasting, raw foods, juices, water fasting. Hydration is the true nutrition. Oxygen is the true nutrition. Micronutrition. Fruits and vegetables. Get my 4-day detox. Get it for free on my page. I'll put it in the chat. If you want it, ask for it. It's a free program. Get my free 4-day detox. Look at your nutrition plan a different way. Change your nutrition. You want to talk about it? Let's have some dialogue. Get out into nature, move, get into the light of the sun, be accountable. Accountability is a piece that's called relationship. Get into the chat groups, speak in the chat groups, tell us what you're doing, tell us how you're feeling, share with us, come on to the pages, look, learn, listen, get around it, listen to it, hear it. Because as you go out into the population, you're not going to hear this message. It's going to be a backwards one from this again. You need to keep coming back and revisiting this idea. You're going to need to relearn a new idea for yourself, a new habit and behavior. A new lifestyle is to be developed through habit and behavior and practice. Follow me on Facebook or Instagram or subscribe to me on YouTube. Get into my private groups. Join up with me. Join me for a 10-day detox. I'm about to start again. If you'd like some information, send me a message. Get my 6 weeks to success, an online training program. We can meet every other week for a call, some dialogue. Let's work together on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, just once in a while, however you want to do it. It doesn't matter. We can do this weekly, monthly, one-off type of thing. You're not committed. You don't need to be committed or stuck on anything. Everyone needs help. We all need help. I needed help. I needed to grow from helping and being and teaching and sharing. That's how I grow. Through my practice, I grow. Every day I practice these things, these thoughts and words and actions. I think about it, speak about it. This is what I do. I surround myself with it. If you want to learn French, you go to France. If you want to learn health, you surround yourself with it. You think and speak and talk about it all of the time. You make sure you make a commitment to talk about it every day and every week. You make talk time for it. That's how you make it more important in your life. And I think this is the ending of my presentation today. I would love to have some dialogue and some questions. I'd love to talk about it. I said a lot of things.
Yeah, John, first of all, thank you very much. You've covered lots of wisdom, lots of different aspects, and each one is gonna to implement whatever suits to them, whatever resonates with them. Yeah, but you have covered, you've given us lots of aspects of health, of well-being. So thank you so much. Okay, guys, so now let's open ourselves for questions. So do you have any questions for John?
Hello. Hi.
Hello, Revital.
Hello.
Hi. I left the question in the group. Did you see it?
Yeah, I forwarded all the questions to John.
Well,
Could
actually,
you ask me again? Could you ask me again?
you
Is it okay?
spoke, yeah, you spoke about it. I mean, yeah, you really covered a lot of things, and about, yeah, you said that, like, I hear there are people that come from the pranic or religious or spiritual world, and they speak about the meditations and just being fruitarian or being autonomous lifestyle or being pranic altogether, breatharian altogether. And there are people coming like from the just like you, that you came from you were a bodybuilder and
Sciences, yes.
A science. So
Yes.
I also try lots of I tried different lifestyles and different diets, and I hear different things. Like, I thought you're supposed to be just like the grade 8s, 100% on fruit and a little bit on greens and vegetables, and you mentioned, and also Dr. Filanov, that we need some proteins, like even herbivores, they eat insects, like, so
Yeah, this is it. So minimal, yes.
But should it be raw, like raw eggs and raw fish, like a little bit, and not cooked, not processed?
That would be probably the most ideal, but I don't think you need to do this. I think if you're cooking some egg, or if you're having a little bit of cheese, I would say goat cheese. You know, I would encourage you to get to try feta cheese or goat cheese. You know, nuts and seeds, hummus and chickpeas, avocados. You know, definitely getting your proteins from vegetable sources. I would encourage you to go that way. But if you would like to have a little bit of animal proteins, do not fret about that. And if it's going to take you a little bit of time because you are a meat eater, some people, I'm sure, that, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time to come away from that.
And Arnold he said that everything is mucus forming all animals and animal products and rice and the grains and everything. So it's just fruits basically. So you're not supposed
Yes. So for healing, so if you've got extreme healing to do, like if you have cancer or disease, then you're gonna want to go to like all fruits. Yes. And if you're just kind of living a healthy lifestyle, that you'd probably still be I'm a predominant fruit eater. I eat mostly fruits and vegetables, but I still have a little bit. I have a family and I eat with my family too. So for relationship and engagement with life, that at one time I was a very, very strict fruitarian, but I was like living in a space where oh yeah, it's all about fruit, but then no one could relate to me and I couldn't relate to anyone.
Yeah, it's food is it's not just about nutrition, it's
This
also
is it.
social.
There's a relationship aspect to it and an integration into society. And so it comes down to choice and belief and relationship and life. So it's not about a right or wrong. And so I cannot tell you what is right or wrong, but you have to decide with your masculine mind for yourself. And this is the decision maker. And this is what we've been taught in life, is to go to someone to ask a question, like our teacher, our parent. And we've learned in life this way, that we get our answer from the outside. And I want to tell you that you can learn from the doctor and learn from the nutritionist and learn from so-and-so and learn from me. But ultimately, you're going to have to decide for yourself what you decide.
Yeah,
After you practice this and you practice that and you see what happens, you're going to say, you know what? I like to have a little bit of this. And I'll tell you what happens. People go to the extreme and they say, oh, you don't need to have any of this protein. I did it too, fruitarian. You don't need to have any of it. And you just go straight all the way over to here. And this, I'm against it. And I alienated myself from my family and the whole world. And then I found, after being all the way out there alone, I said, you know what? I'm going to want to eat something. And then you see the vegans turning back to me. And this is because they've gone such an adamant to one side that this is right and that's wrong, that's what life is, right and wrong, right? Like that's what life is. Like one side is right and the other side is wrong, because it's about good guys and bad guys. I'll tell you, that's the problem. That idea that there's only one way to do this is the problem. And that idea that you need to always look outside to get your answer, that you won't decide for yourself. What do you believe is right for you? What do you choose? Your choice is your free will. Your choice is your love. Your choice is your decision in your masculine mind that you create into your reality with your feminine mind. This is what I'm eating today. This is going to make me well. This is what makes me well. This is what makes me feel happy, healthy, and well. And then maybe after a year or two, it may be a little bit different, but this is what I'm doing today. That's a choice. That's a decision that you make, not what I tell you, what you like from my message that resonates with you, that you take for yourself and apply for yourself. And then as you practice that you'll begin to be changed by that. And then the next thing will be inspired in you, and then you may change your mind and begin to practice something else. That you follow your bliss, you follow what you like about my message until you find something else that you like better, or you make a different decision inside of yourself. Because it's your decision. What you believe creates your reality. That some people here believe that they could die if they breathe the air outside without a mask. And some people are not doing that because they don't believe that. that these are two beliefs that exist that, right here on top of each other, that people, that ideas live amongst each other, that there's not a right way or a wrong way, that everyone is free will, able to choose and create their own reality. It's a multi-dimensional reality here.
The thing is, like, something basic, like, you know, animals know intuitively what they should eat and what they shouldn't eat. Isn't there a one
Yeah,
truth?
so fruit is the main predominant food. Yes, that is the main food, fruit
Yeah.
and vegetables. Yes, but you know what? If you feel like it because you've come in life to learn to eat a little bit of potatoes, and sometimes you like to have a cookie, and it's Christmas, you want to have a drink. Well, if you can't do that, well, that's your choice. But you can't tell somebody else that they can't do that, or that they're wrong because they do. Because you said so, because you decided that.
Like,
That's your choice.
Like, everything that with humans, everything is so complicated. It's not like animals, they're so simple, you know, they just
We're
eat.
simple too. We're simple too. The complication for humans is free will, choice. Animals can't choose. Animals don't have choice. They don't have free will. Humans have choice. And because of this, you'll never get the right answer from somebody else.
That's right. Some people, like, just like you said, that some people truly believe that we need to eat meat, that vegetarians that have been vegetarians for many years all of a sudden decided to go back to meat because they said that their the bones, they felt that the body was deteriorating. So, you know, it's so many, just like I said, so much information and so much disinformation. Sometimes it's disinformation, like they teach us that you need the protein.
And I would say that's because they've gone too extreme to one side. They've polarized themselves too far over to one side, and that's why their bones are starting to break. Because they tried to become vegan straight away before they move through the process of changing their mind. That still, their mind still believes that they need some meat, even though that they're eating protein, eating vegan. But they still, in their mind, haven't changed their mind about that yet. They're stopped eating meat, but they haven't changed their belief system at the level of their thought process and thinking process about how their body is created. They still think they are what they eat. They still say these things. They haven't changed their dialogue. They haven't changed their beliefs. And so they become sick on a vegan diet and need to go back to meat. And then they think that you need to eat meat. And then they start telling people that you need to eat meat. And that's not true either. They just need to eat meat for a little while, and then they'll realize that you don't need to eat it for that long. You eat it for a little while, and then you can probably not have it again. That it's a bit of balance, and that life needs balance, and that you can't be all on one side. This is the right way, that's the wrong way. Then you're a police officer for yourself and for others. You can't be a police officer over people. People have to choose for themselves. You have to share information with people and let people choose for themselves. Let them practice and decide for themselves over time. The practice is this: fast daily, eat mostly fruits and vegetables, drink juices, drink water, meditate, move, get out in nature. This is the practice. And as you practice it, you'll make some new decisions in your life and you'll change your life. This is my promise.
Okay, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, guys, do you have any more questions? John, I forwarded a few questions to your WhatsApp. Maybe we could go over it meanwhile.
Arik, I
Yes.
have a question.
Unless we have someone live who wants to ask a
Yes.
question.
This is Sunita.
Yes,
Hi.
Sunita.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
I want to
lovely.
know, John, you mentioned the mucusless diet, which is Arnold Ehret, right? I've got all
Yes.
his books. I've got all his, and I think he's amazing. I mean, that guy was something else. So did you initially, before you did fasting, did you like do the mucusless diet first and then you move to fasting the way he propagates it in his
Yes.
book?
Yeah. It was the mucusless diet book that inspired me to move towards the fruitarian lifestyle. That it was that idea of Arnold Ehret that the body became healthy by its ability to process air, and that we needed to clean out the body to have the body process air better. This was the idea that I got from the mucusless diet. And that's when I started to understand that it wasn't that I needed to feed my body to be well, but I needed to unfeed my body to be well.
Beautiful.
That I
But
had
my-
overfed my body.
Right. But my question is, you've gone from like a very extreme where you were a bodybuilder and you were
Yes,
consuming all that,
protein,
to
protein,
such a-
protein extreme.
Absolutely. So what was your first thing that you, besides your mindset, what was the first few bits that made the radical change besides
I
once
was
you
in
read
so
the
much
book and you
pain.
absorbed it? What?
I was in so much pain. My body was
Oh.
in so much pain. My life was in so much pain. I was declaring my second bankruptcy. My relationships were all strained. I was financially strained, physically strained, overweight, had pain in my neck and my shoulders and my back. I couldn't sleep. I was medicated. Everything in my life was falling apart. And then I came across some new ideas. And then once I started to apply these ideas and reduce the meat in my life, that everything started to go away. So I immediately started to see change. Within 3 days, I started to be able to walk and feel less pain in my knees and my hips. So I noticed it right away. So I just kept going in this direction. I found the mucusless diet, and those ideas inspired me to start changing my nutrition. I started to change my nutrition. I found Dr. Morris. I found Dr. Sebi. I found Halton Hotima. As I started to go in this way and started to practice these things, I found more information, more people that were speaking about it. I got a deeper understanding of it and started to fast more, eat fruits more, drink juices. I went on a 90-day fruit fast. I ate fruits predominantly for just about fruits only for a couple of years. I was about 20 pounds lighter than I am now, 15 or 20 pounds lighter than I am now. And I can be when I go into like a breatharian lifestyle. I have lived that way. And yes, you can do that. But I'll tell you that when I reintroduced a more comfortable lifestyle with food, that my health continued to go further. That it was in the fasting for a few years, very deeply and very hard, that disciplined fasting, that forceful masculine mind fasting, that I learned that there was another form of energy for the body, that the body could be energized without food for multiple days. And I got that feeling inside. I got a knowledge of an inner feeling, like I could feel the energy inside of myself. So I became to know of the energy within me. So I came to have a knowledge of the energy. Once I came to have a knowledge of the energy through fasting, then it wasn't about food anymore. It was about energy. And so I could leave the paradigm of worrying about food altogether. And so I could eat a little bit of food or not eat, and I could still stay connected to the energy. That it ceased being about food. That it was about food until my mind changed. That I became to know something different through the habit, through the practice, through the behavior, through the elimination of waste, that something changed within my mind and body that I came to have knowledge of something different, that I acted upon that new knowledge, that now I can eat a little bit and not eat a little bit. And both times I can still remain contacted to the source. And so it's not really about the food. It is now about the energy.
Wow. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, guys, any more questions?
Can you share? You said you have a 4-day detox program.
Yes, I would love to share my 4-day detox with the group. Maybe everyone in the weekly chat, I could put my 4-day detox into the weekly chat, the weekly fasting chat group. I'll put my 4-day detox in there so that everyone could have access to that. And that's what it is. It's a fasting lifestyle, an intermittent fasting. I spoke about it. It's a, you know, at every week fasting. I say no food Monday. I like to honor my fasting day on Monday after the weekend. So the weekly fasting group typically does it on Friday. If you'd like to do it on Monday, I do it on Monday. I tell people fast once a week for sure. Join in. If it's another day that's more convenient for you, wonderful. Do it on another day. Fasting once a week, fasting daily. It's a daily practice. It's a habit. It's a behavior. It's a lifestyle. We come together and we talk about these things. We talk about what we learn along the way, because as we practice this, we will be changed by it, and our understanding will change from it.
John, could you also put the group that you have got?
Yes,
Global
we'll put all the links below this video.
Okay, excellent.
Once this video is uploaded on YouTube, which is going to be probably tomorrow, you will find all the links there.
All the links. Okay.
Great.
John, you mentioned about the you stop your eating window or when you do it at 8 o'clock and then you resume again at 11 o'clock. Is that what you said?
Yeah, and again, so I've honored things like this. Like I've honored like a 2-hour eating window. I've honored a 4-hour eating window. I've honored a 6-hour eating window. I've honored an 8-hour. I've practiced these things. So I'm saying, like, you practice these things. So that's like a 16-hour daily fast, an 18-hour daily fast, a 20-hour daily fast, and eating every other day, and eating every 3 days, and eating every 4 days, and eating on the weekends only, practicing these things. Like when you practice these things, that you'll be changed by these things.
Okay.
So it's not a formula. It's not a formula. It's for you to make your formula. Let's say we start, I say start with a 16-hour daily fast, intermittent fasting daily. Every night. So whatever 16 hours is right for you, depending on your schedule.
Yeah.
If you know you can finish dinner at 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, if whatever is better for you. You know, if dinner has to be 9 because you work a night shift or you do something different, it's a later dinner and then a later start during the day.
Right.
But it's to end the dinner and then to be empty for 16 hours until the next day, depending on whatever time you start. If you took it at 8 p.m., then 8 a.m. is 12 hours. And then 12 noon would be 16 hours. So that would be between 12 and 8. But if it suits your schedule to be better between 11 and 7, or between 10 and 6, you could honor a 16-hour window between 10 and 6. Or you could say, you know what, I'm going to start with a 6-hour window. I'm going to eat in a 6-hour window every day. Or I'll start with an 18, a 16-hour window, and I'll practice that for a week or two. And then I feel like I could go further. Like I could go for I might be able to do an 18-hour window. I might want to do a 20-hour window, or today I feel like I could go longer without food. Press into that window and eat in a smaller window. Press a little further. Some days when you're inspired to go further, go further. And if not, then pull back. You know, decide for yourself through practicing. It's by practicing that you start to make these decisions. I say 14 to 16 hour loosely. This is what you want to have, a 14 to 16 hour window of fasting. You're practicing this every day.
Right.
When inspired, go more. If you
Okay.
can go for 20 hours or 22 hours and eat in 2 hours and then wait again and then eat in 2 hours and then wait again, and then you get so good that you can eat every other day. And you just eat one day and juice one day, and then eat one day and juice one day. And you
Yes.
practice this for a while.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. I notice in Lent, when Lent is coming up during just before then, I tend to get more spiritual, and therefore I can do longer fasts.
There you go.
Maybe it's just my mindset. I don't know, but
It's
then
a
that
belief
kind of,
because you're in that mindset, right?
Yeah.
You're in that
Yeah.
habit. You're in that lifestyle. That's a habit, a belief. Yes.
absolutely. And you spoke about belief, so I think it also makes you very spiritual. This whole journey, I find that
This
it's
is a spiritual journey.
absolutely perfect.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
John, and I have a question about intermittent fasting. Do you mean to dry fast, intermediate dry fasting, or you do drink water or herbal teas or whatever?
And I've done both of these things, and both are wonderful. And again, not right or wrong, but deciding for yourself. Like, can you go 14 or 16 hours without water? If you can, wonderful, dry fast. It's awesome. But if you can't, then just start with drinking water during that time, water only for your intermittent fasting. And
Okay.
you know what? If you're not really experienced with fasting, maybe not the dry fasting yet, just because you end up dehydrating yourself so much. And if you're doing it a lot, like you're intermittent fasting every night, if you start doing that for 3 weeks or 4 weeks or a month, you're going to start to get pretty dehydrated if you're not like really, really consciously drinking water and rehydrating during the day. Like, unless you're into this lifestyle of habit and conscious thought of like carrying your water bottle and thinking about that every day, and that's your process and your habit. If that's not your behavior, then don't try to become like a hero and become like that person overnight. Like, allow this to happen over the course of a year. Like, this year, you're going to get better at this. Like, just make that decision right now. I'm going to get better at this year. I'm going to start practicing this year.
Okay.
And I'm going to practice this one for the first month. And then I feel inspired to do more from what I learned from the first month. I feel like I want to do more. I want to go harder. I want to go longer in my fast. I want to go dry with my fast. First, practice something for a while before you start to jump to something more. Like, have the experience of just, a weekly fast. Join the group. Join the weekly fast. Every Friday, there's a weekly fast. Every Monday, I do a weekly fast. Join the group. Do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, John. And then we also have a little bit related question here that someone posted in the group. A question to John: is it necessary to fast in order to start breatharian journey, or it's just something that happens in another way?
I would say that probably, it could happen from another way because you're feeling some sickness, illness, or disease in your body. But when I say, when you could make the fast as simple as just reducing the most dense foods, like removing the meats and the fats. Like, it could be as simple as that. Like, I'm just going to fast from the meats and the fats. Monday to Friday, I'm not going to eat any meats or any fats. I'm just going to go with fruits and vegetables. Or I'm not going to eat any animal protein Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday. I'm only going to eat vegetable protein. I'm going to go vegan Monday to Thursday, and I'm going to relax a little bit on the weekend and have the things that I like. Because you have to see that the human is both thinker and feeler, decision maker and desire. And that if you deny the desire for too long, then that's when you tip over. Like, some people get into this force thing where it's like, I'm not going to eat meat. And then they go for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. Then they believe now that they have to eat meat, and meat is the right way to go. That's because now they go to the flip to the other side. Well, it's not that. It's to recognize that you are two. You are masculine and feminine. You are your discipline. I am getting healthy and well, and I do those things most of the time, Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday. But then I also relax and enjoy a cookie or a muffin on the weekend because I desire it. But you have to have a comfort level in your life if you want to sustain your life. If you want to talk about a lifestyle, stop talking about I don't eat food for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
Because that's you're not there. Nobody here is there. So don't even talk about it yet. Like, begin with something realistic that you can do on a daily basis. Begin with some intermittent fasting. Begin with a weekly fast. Begin with a daily discipline of movement. Begin with a daily discipline of meditation. Drink more juices. Drink raw, clean water. Get distilled water. Start cutting fruits and put it in your water. Cut lemons and put them in your water. Start a new system with your water drink. Get them, reduce the fats and proteins in your life.
Wonderful. Then Raju is asking here in the chat, hi, John, can you talk about the hydrogen water bottle you mentioned?
Yes, I love hydrogen water. I'm very much behind hydrogen water. Hydrogen is the energy of the sun, right? Hydrogen is the energy of the sunlight. That's it. The sun is a hydrogen reaction. The light of the sun is hydrogen energy, hydrogen light. The water is hydrogen, H2O. The water is sitting on the earth. The earth is invigorated by the light of the sun. The water of the earth, the water in the lakes and the oceans and the water that falls from the clouds in the sky is an invigorated water. It's a structured water. It's a hydrogen-rich water. It's an H3. There are machines that can invigorate your water for you. I use a hydrogen water bottle to invigorate my distilled water. I drink clean water, distilled water. I put it in a hydrogen water bottle. Some people get themselves a hydrogen machine, an ionic machine, a hydrogen machine that can convert the water at the level of the tap, that all the water that comes out of the tap is now hydrogenated water. That's the most wonderful machine. But you're spending, $2,000 to $4,000 to get that machine. If you're ready to make that commitment, wonderful. If you want to get started, this might be a great way to get started. This machine, this bottle, you're looking at something between $100 and $200 for this bottle. Somewhere between $50 and $200, depending on where it's being sold. If it's being sold in the US, you're going to find it between $100 and $200. If you're buying it from someone that's getting it from China and selling it somewhere else in the world, you may be able to get it as low as $50, $60, $70, $80. It's the same bottle. It's a hydrogen bottle. It creates ionic water or hydrogen water, invigorated water or structured water. This type of water is the type of water that's in fruits and vegetables. That's structured water in there. And fruits and vegetables contain structured waters. It's to drink structured waters. Fruits and vegetables rehydrate the body with structured waters, to cleanse the body with structured waters. Does this answer the questions?
Yeah. So how does it work? Do you connect it to the electricity, or how does it work?
You plug it in at night to charge it, so it has a charge like your cell phone battery. And then you just turn it on and it runs for a couple of minutes and it invigorates your water. You'll see bubbles in the water. Bubbles are formed in the water and the water is being invigorated at the molecular level, at the electron level.
Okay.
I got a question. Can you do that with a blender? A high-speed blender?
It's not about shaking your water. It's not about shaking your water. Shaking your water doesn't change the electrons of the water. Again, this is like the understanding of the calorie versus the understanding of the amino acid, which is a molecule, which is nitrogen, which is an atom inside of the molecule. And then the electron, which spins around the proton or inside of the atom. So at the atomic level, like when you stir your blender, you do not agitate or change the structure or change the action of the electrons. You may agitate the water, but you don't agitate the water's atomic structure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, guys, we have been going on for more than 2 hours and a half. Do you have any more questions before we wrap it up? If not, then John, I would love to ask you to elaborate a little bit more about the services that you provide on a personal basis, in the group setting. You told us a little bit about that, but maybe you could elaborate a little bit more
So
about
you know what?
that.
I really like to just start with let's just have a chat. Let's have a little bit of discussion. That's the best way to get started. Let's talk about what's happening for you. Let's talk about what we want to accomplish. Let's talk about any sickness, illness, disease, pain, problem with the relationship, problem with anything that's going on. Let's talk about what's going on for you. Let's talk about what we want to have go on. Let's plot a course of action on how that happens naturally through fasting, through movement, through positive thoughts and words and actions. And I have a couple of programs. I have a monthly program where people can, get started with me, and we speak weekly. That's $500 to get started and $250 a month to stay in the program. You work out with me every single day if you like. 30 minutes a day we get together for exercise. I have times at different times during the day that people can tune in and exercise with me every day. We can connect for a chat every single week to make sure that you're accountable and that you're moving forward and you're staying on track. So I have weekly coaching. I have single coaching sessions if you just want to get started and just work on it for a while and then check in again next month. We could just meet once a month, or we could just meet once a week. We could just buy a single session at a time. Or if you'd like to get into a monthly coaching program, or I've got a 10-day detox about to kick off next week with Sabina Kurz, where we're going to have daily interaction for 10 days. We're going to have people can join in. It's $145 for 10 days. Every single day, we're going to meet with you. We're going to talk about all of these things. We're going to fast together, 1, 2, 3 day fasts each week. We're going to do a 1, 2, 3 day fast. We're going to juice or dry fast or fruit fast. We're going to fast together. We're going to exercise. We're going to meditate. We're going to breathe. We're going to be accountable. We're going to affirm together. We're going to change our lives together in community and relationship, just like you do in the chat. Bring it into a little bit more personal relationship, in a dialogue, in a coaching relationship. That's how it happens in a coaching relationship.
Very interesting. John, sometimes when you have few options, various options, like you have just mentioned, it might be difficult for a person to decide what is suitable for them.
Yeah, so we start with just a chat. Let's just have a free chat. Let's talk for 20 or 30 minutes about what's going on for you. And then, we could talk about what's the best course of action. Was this beneficial for you? Would you like to do this once a week? Would you like to do this once a month? Would you like to see me more often? Do you think I would be more beneficial to be more in your space more often?
Very good, John. And what would be the best way to contact you for people who are interested?
I'll make sure I leave through my Facebook page, John DePass, through my private group, Global Health and Wellness, on my Instagram page, High End Fitness, through my YouTube channel, through my email, john@highendfitness.com. I'll make sure I leave some links on my website, highendfitness.com. I'll make sure I connect my links, hopefully with this chat, with everything.
Absolutely.
In the chat, I'll put these links and contacts together.
Yes, we will also put all the links that you found that you find suitable below this video, and then people will be able to contact you. Yeah.
Very much appreciated.
Okay, guys. So thank you very much, John. Thank you so much. You have shared with us lots of wisdom. You have given us lots of food for thought, food for our hearts, you know. And it definitely answers the title of this webinar of how to make this year the best year ever. So thank you so much, and thank you guys, all of you who came here. And the recording of this video will be available tomorrow on our YouTube channel.
Thanks, Arik, for making this happen. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
and,
thank you, thank you.
and happy
Thank
New
you, Arik. Thank
Year.
John. Fabulous
Happy
talk.
New
Thank
Year.
you.
Fabulous year. Bye.